Welcome back to the Executing the Edge podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hub. You can find me at Nick Hub Sports. I have a very special guest with us today. We have senior handicapper at Vegas Insider, guest on VSiN, and contributor at MajorWager.com. We have Brian Edwards at Vegas B Edwards. How we doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for having me. Doing good. Ready to get back to the major action tomorrow night.
How about it? We got the Sweet 16 coming up here. How's your bracket looking these days?
Well, I have to admit I did 4 different brackets, but the one with the highest entry fee is looking good. In fact, I'm looking at this. You know, when you on CBS Sports, when you adjust it to maximum possible points and have them arrange it like that, yep. I'm in second, but the guy in first has got Houston winning it all. I've got Texas Tech winning it all. So if Texas Tech wins it all, I'm in great shape. And in that pool, I have all 4 Final Four teams, and I have Miami going to the Elite Eight. So my bracket is good. Now, like I said, I filled out 4. One of them had Kentucky winning, so I'm dead in that one. But the other 2, I've got Arizona winning 1, and who is my other team I have winning it? I'm shooting a blank.
Well, that's fine. I did 1 bracket, and I had Kentucky and Iowa in the Final Four. Kentucky in the final, losing to Arizona. So
I did put a flyer on Iowa at 30-1. So yeah. I had planned. I thought Fran was going to get his first Sweet 16, and the Hawkeyes would go to their first Sweet 16 at least since '99, but
didn't happen. Out first round. So. Well, hey, man, we got a bunch of games here for Thursday night. They got them bunched up Thursday night and Friday night, back to back, overlapping here. The first one here is Arkansas and Gonzaga. Right now, as of this morning, it's Gonzaga favored by 9.5, a total of 154.5. Both teams coming off hard-fought wins. And I don't know about you, but I watched that full Arkansas New Mexico State game, and after that was over, I had to put on a very suspenseful movie to make up for it. So I had New Mexico State, and that did cover, but it was a hard one to watch. And then Gonzaga came off a tough win last week as well. So the Zags are 0-2 ATS as a favorite of 7.5 to 9.5, so small sample size. Arkansas is 4-1 as a dog. Arkansas's last 3 games, they're -3 in point differential. The Zags are plus 12.7, and Arkansas is 2-6 ATS with 4+ days off. So not too good, and you could kind of have to blame that on coaching. What are your thoughts about this one here, Brian?
Yeah, I think that neither team played its best anywhere near its best basketball last weekend, and yet they're both in the Sweet 16. So kudos to them. If you can, this is survive and advance or lose and go the F home. And they survived and advanced. And I think we're getting good line value with Arkansas because they struggled so bad offensively last week. And I like Arkansas a lot here, especially now that it's up to 9.5. Yeah. They are 17-3 straight up in their last 20. And 2 of the losses came by 5 combined points. Would have obviously been covers here catching this big number. They lost by 1 at Bama. Lost by 4 at Tennessee. We're actually down 26 at one point in that game. Rallied, made it a 1-possession game there in the final minute or so. Like you mentioned, Arkansas has been an underdog 5 times, 4-1 against the spread, 2 outright wins. Gonzaga's mired in an 0-4-1 against the spread slump, 1-6-2 against the spread in its last 9. And, I thought they got some fortunate whistles against Memphis. And, man, for 30 minutes, they got all they wanted and then some from Georgia State as well. Now, Arkansas, again, like I said, did not play very well last week, but I like Jalen Williams. He's a bully in the paint. I hope he can stay out of foul trouble. But if so, man, I really think that he can push Holmgren around and probably Time as well. And I think Arkansas has got better overall athleticism. I think they've got a great chance to win outright. I do have a small ticket on them at 70-1, so I'm not going to be playing them on the money line, but they're one of my favorites of all the games. I'm on the Hogs.
Yeah, it should be a super fast game, right? Super fast paced with Arkansas 48th in the nation. Zags are 13th, so they should be getting up and down. Arkansas definitely has the experience in this one. The height advantage for the Zags, clear advantage for the Zags, but to your point, they might be a little bit stronger, Arkansas. I mean, and who knows with this experience if it's going to show later on in this tournament. So the Zags score most of their points inside the arc. That's a strength on defense for the Razorbacks. Same deal for Arkansas. They like to score inside, but that's also the Zags' strength on defense. I would say Arkansas needs to win the turnover battle and limit these second chance points with the Zags. They rank 6th in the nation in second chance point conversion percentage to stay in this ball game. But I don't like a side in this one. I would lean towards the over in this game with the faster pace, and I see a lot of points coming up here.
Yeah, I don't have any opinion on the total. I'm trying to dig up Arkansas's totals in the 150s. They had a 158.5 that went way under against Alabama, but they had a 151.5 with Auburn that went over, but that probably went over because of overtime. Yeah, it did. But they had a 153.5 against Georgia that flew over with 172 combined. They did have an under 152.5 against South Carolina, but an over 157.5 against Hofstra, and over 151 against who in the world was that? Oh, Central Arkansas, I guess. Again, I don't have any feel for the total on this one.
Yeah, and like you said too, with the previous bias that could barely score last game, that total was probably lower than it should be. If they played up to par last week, so could be some value there. Next game here, Brian, we got Michigan and Villanova. So Michigan's coming in with a big upset on Tennessee, but is it really a big upset if you know Rick Barnes' postseason history?
Yeah.
Nova took care of a struggling Ohio State team, and should be a slower pace game with Michigan in the 214th and Nova 349th in tempo. So what's your take on this one, Brian?
Yeah, another epic collapse by a really good Rick Barnes team that was playing so well, was up by 6 at the under 8 timeout, seemed to be in total control, but credit to Michigan, man. They locked them down defensively in the last 8 minutes, and Michigan advances. But I think this is the end of the road for the Wolverines. Villanova has won 7 in a row and 12 of its last 13 since February 5th. The only lost by 2 at UConn now, but that's just outright. Villanova's laying 5 here, but I will mention of those 12 wins in their last 13, the Wildcats have won by 6 or more 8 times, which is obviously relevant, laying 5, and then they've run by 5 or more 9 times, which 5 would be a push. And even if it is a 1-possession game in the final minute, if Villanova, let's say they're up only 2 or 3, I think we still got a good chance to cover because Colin Gillespie 91.5% of his from the free throw line this year. Again, hat tip to Michigan for last weekend, but they're still only 6-5 in its last 11, and all 5 defeats were by 5 or more. And the Wolverines lost by 8 or more 4 times during that span of 5 losses or 11 games, and they lost by double digits 3 times. I like Nova -5.
Yeah, I'm on Nova's side too. I like the height advantage for Michigan, but I that's probably all I like here. The experience for Nova, and both teams bench. If either team gets in foul trouble, they could be in trouble. I mean, they rank 316th and 318th in bench minutes this season. So I see free throw shooting being huge, as Nova is number 1 in the nation. So I could see Nova opening this one up and winning by 7, 8, 9, 10 points.
Hopefully more.
Yeah. You don't want to sweat too much. if we can avoid it. So the next game here, we like here, Texas Tech -1 against Duke. That's currently, I think this came out, Duke favored by 2. Texas Tech's favored by 1 right now. I have a total of 137.5. Texas Tech escaped a tough win versus Notre Dame last week, and Duke didn't have it easy with Sparty. They could have very easily lost that game too, and ended Coach K's run here, his career. So we'll see what happens here. Tech's coming in at a plus 10.7 differential. Duke's at plus 3.7. Should be an average tempo. Very tall teams. These are two very tall teams. Experience favors Tech with 34th in the nation compared to the very young Duke squad, 346th. Not even over a year in experience in the average player on Duke. So Tech also uses a lot of bench minutes, which will favor them if they get in foul trouble. Either side. Duke is 313th. So if Duke gets in foul trouble, that could really, really, really hurt them. So what's your take on this one, Brian?
Well, like I said, I've got Texas Tech winning it in my bracket, and I've also got a 40-1 ticket on them. So I think I'd be silly to just be betting more on them. I've got plenty built in on them if they advance. I do like them to advance. But if anything, I might be buying a Duke future ticket as somewhat of a hedge. But I do like, if anybody's tailing my opinions, I think it's Texas Tech. I do worry that Coach K will get all the calls as usual, and maybe even more so with this scenario, him being out. But I will give credit to Duke, man. Like you just mentioned, their youth, and they're down by 5 there with like 3-ish minutes left, 3-4 minutes left, and that's when young players usually. You usually get a little tight, but man, they stepped up and made plays and got the win. I do like Texas Tech to advance, but I worry about the officiating. I certainly worry about the officiating. We'll see.
Yeah, it's questionable these days, right? Texas Tech should win the turnover battle, but Duke has the clear edge in three-point shooting and free throw shooting. Texas Tech ranks 47th in free throw attempts, 2 field goal attempts. Which just means they get to the line a decent amount, which could get Duke into foul trouble, which I mentioned about their bench, could really hurt them. So I played Texas Tech in this one on the money line. So I like the Red Raiders here. So we'll have to hope on the referees getting some calls for Texas Tech here.
Yeah, but, and I wasn't now the referee. In general has been abysmal, but I'm just talking about Duke specifically, how they tend to get fortunate whistles.
With his last year, and it's going to be even more. So you got to expect it. But next game, Brian, Houston, Arizona. Arizona's favored by 1.5. We got a 145 point total. Houston coming off a comfortable win versus the Illini, and Arizona, the nightcap last week, escaped the overtime thriller against TCU. Their star point guard, Kirk Chris, he didn't look healthy. And is he going to look better this time around? I mean, I guess it's hard to say without, being at the practices and everything, but Houston comes in at a plus 15.7 differential. Arizona is a plus 10. Both teams are 7-3 with 4+ days off. So both very well with rest. Contrasting taste and tempo. Houston likes to slow it down. Arizona likes to push it. Arizona has a small height advantage, but Houston has the clear edge in experience. It will be a battle inside the arc as both squads thrive on defense and offense inside that arc. And both teams are top 15 in offensive rebounding, which will bring second chance points. Conversion should be an opportunity there. So what do you like here in this one, Brian?
This is the one game I have absolutely no feel for whatsoever. Houston, it just scares me to go against them. Sampson's done such a remarkable job, especially after losing Sasser and another double-figure scorer. and here they are in the Sweet 16 again. I will say the over is on a 9-2 run for Arizona, and this is a pretty low total for them, but it's not a low total. Or I'm sorry, it's a high total for Houston. Right. But man, I have absolutely no feel whatsoever for this one. I would love for either team to get out to like a 15-2 lead and be able to end game either or for like plus 8-ish or something like that. Yeah. But there's gonna be a pregame play for me on this one.
So I like Houston here. I played Houston, and the reason I like their defense with turnover percentage ranking 29th in the nation, I think they can get a lot of breakaway points off of steals here. And the edge in coaching is clear in this one. I know Tommy Lloyd's been doing an excellent job this season, but it's his first season. And Kelvin Sampson, I mean, he is a veteran. He's been here before. So, yeah, I definitely like Houston here to win this one outright, but I played them at plus 1.5 just to get that extra edge there. Next game here, St. Peter's and Purdue. I think we're into Friday here. I think this is the first game Friday. Am I right here?
Yes, 7:09 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so we got the first one here Friday. St. Peter's, the Cinderella against Purdue. Minus 12.5 is the total, is the spread here for Purdue. 135.5 is the total. St. Peter's comes in after beating Murray State, while Purdue enters as one of the two Big Ten teams left, which the other one is Michigan. Both teams about +7 in the last 3 games, and Purdue is 14-20 and 1 ATS as a favorite. St. Peter's is 10-3 as a dog. Purdue is 0-4 ATS with a spread of 12.5 to 14.5. But on the other side, St. Peter's is 0-2 as a dog with that same spread. So what do you think about this one, Brian?
I slightly lean to St. Peter's. I haven't played it, and I'm not positive that I will. Purdue is in a 5-10-1 against the spread slump their last 16 as a double-digit favorite. You mentioned St. Peter's prowess as an underdog, and they've covered 9 in a row, whether favored or dog. They play really good defense. They give up only 62.4 a game, ranking 24th in the nation, 18th in field goal percentage defense. They defend the three-point line well, ranking 26th in the country, only 30% shooting from downtown from opponents. They've got a really good rim protector in Ndefo, who blocked 2.7 shots per game in the regular season, is averaging 3.6 blocks in the 5 postseason games, 2 last weekend and 3 in the conference tournament. Purdue scares me offensively, but their defense is very shaky. If they have a night where they're not making a lot of their threes, they become pretty ordinary. I think Purdue probably wins by double digits. It'll probably be a nail biter against the spread. Slight lean to St. Peter's, but it's not a strong opinion by any means.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too. I didn't play this one, but I would lean St. Peter's because of the history here with Purdue is not a good covering team, and their defense is very shaky, like you said. They're definitely going to win the rebounding battle with their height, but they're not going to win, in my opinion, the turnover battle. I think St. Peter's can turn them over a decent amount to keep it, within single digits. So I do lean St. Peter's, but like you said, it's not a hard lean here, one way or the other. So we'll get into the next game here. Providence and Kansas. This one is minus 7.5 for Kansas, a 142 total. Providence took care of Richmond, but has yet to face a single digit seed. Creighton gave Kansas all they could handle, even without their big guy, Kilbrenner. Ended up losing him after that last game, but ended up only losing by 7 points to Kansas last week. What's your thoughts on this one, Brian?
Yeah, I love Providence here. I'm so tired of the luckiest team in the nation narrative out of Providence, man. they just rack up victories, 27-5 straight up, and they rack up covers as underdogs. They're 8-1 against the spread with 7 outright wins. The lone non-cover as a dog was losing to Villanova by 5 as a 4-point dog. Providence has played 13 games against teams in the field. They're 9-4 in those games. They got a win over Texas Tech. Even without Al Durham, their second leading scorer, they only lost by 2 at Nova. They won outright at Wisconsin, outright at UConn. They beat Creighton by 21. And like you were saying, Creighton went on that 7-0 run and cut it to 1 with I want to say it was less than 90 seconds remaining. And that was without not only the big guy, but without Nembhard. I mean, I know he's been out for like a month, but 2 of Creighton's best players are gone. And yet KU's in a 1-point game with less than 90 seconds left. I think Providence is thriving on this lucky narrative that's out there. And I'm not saying they'll win. They might win, but I think Providence is the play for sure, catching the I got it at 8 on Sunday, but 7 or 7.5 is fine with me as well.
Yeah, like you said, the 8-1 as a dog. Kansas is 11-13 versus opponents over 500. Providence is 14-4 against those teams. So contrasting tempos in this one. Providence likes to slow it down. Kansas likes to speed it up a bit. Both teams excel at offensive rebounding and second chance points. So the ability to get some extra points here is there. Providence shoots a good amount of threes, and that's their strength on offense, but it's also Kansas's strength on defense. There won't be many turnovers by Providence. They rank 322nd in the nation in defense and turnover percentage. And Kansas will have more blocks than them. They rank 85th in the nation. So not a strong lean, but I do lean Kansas in this one. All right. And we have North Carolina and UCLA. Minus 2.5 is the line here. 141.5 is the total. We have UNC, maybe the hottest team left in this tournament. However, they almost lost the last game after being up 20 points. UCLA easily beats the St. Mary's squad last week, and I think I can hear this monitor in the back here. Why don't you talk about this game for a little bit, Brian? I'm going to turn this thing off.
Yeah, I lean UCLA on this one, with or without Jaquez. But if Jaquez is upgraded, I really like UCLA a lot. There is a video from the UCLA beat writer for the LA Times. It's Ben something. But anyway, it's a video of Jaquez boarding the bus yesterday on the way to the airport. Still not in a walking boot. Didn't seem to be limping at all. Cronin did say he didn't practice yesterday. So, but I think there's a lot of optimism that he'll be ready to play. Like I said, I lean UCLA regardless. But if Jaquez, if we're seeing camera footage of him shooting around and not favoring that ankle, then I like UCLA about as much as I like my other plays. And again, even without Jaquez, I lean UCLA. They've been good to me, but he is their second best player behind Juzang, and was having a great game against St. Mary's till he did the ankle.
Yeah, he did. And I'm back here. Sorry to anybody that heard a baby crying in the background. My son, I didn't know the monitor was in this room. So anyway, I lean UCLA in this one too. UNC's had a good run, but I think with their inconsistency throughout the season, I don't think they can be as consistent. And I think that showed in the last game when they got up 20 points and almost ended up losing that game. So
credit to them though if you would have given me a pick'em end game of Baylor, North Carolina going to overtime minus 110 either way, I would have been all over Baylor. So
yeah, me too.
That off and still got the dub was impressive, but it wasn't very impressive blowing that monster lead.
Yeah, no, you're right. It usually favors the favorite in overtime, and you could see that going the other way easily. But yeah, So the Bruins will look to score against the strength of UNC, which is inside. While UNC will try to they shoot well outside, and that's where UCLA tends to struggle a little bit. But they have a good defense. I don't know if they're gonna struggle too much. Both good free throw shooting teams. UNC will not force many turnovers. UCLA should win that turnover battle. And like I said, I lean UCLA, and I lean towards the under in this one too, a little bit. So we'll get to the next game here without any interruptions. This is the last game. Looks like, yeah, we went through all these. This is the last game on the slate here. Iowa State and Miami. Brian, why is this the nightcap?
Right?
we got the worst matchup, and it's the last game. But anyway, Iowa State, Miami, -2, favoring the Hurricanes, 133.5. We got a low total. Iowa State beat LSU last week. Miami upset Auburn. Iowa State came into this tournament with a I think it was like a negative, maybe like a negative 11 point differential. They're up to a negative 7 point differential in their last three, but Miami's plus 5.3. Should be an average tempo. Who's going to be better here, Brian? Iowa State's offense or Miami's defense? I think that has a lot to do with how this outcome how this turns out. So how do you feel about this one?
I love Miami here. Loved them against Auburn. Had them on the money line. I've got them in my Elite Eight, and I've been playing this team. Their last 11 games, well, first off, since December 29th, they've just been a money-making machine, 16-5-1 against the spread, and that's despite that epic melt against Vatech at home 3 or 4 Saturdays ago when they had a 6-point lead with like 45 seconds and lost outright. I have backed them 10 times in their last 11 games, and I'm 8-2 ATS in those games. And that's despite that melt against Vatech. Yeah. Should be 9-1. Their last 12, they're 9-3 straight up, 9-2-1 against the spread, and 3 of the outright defeats, or the 3 outright defeats, were by 8 combined points. Iowa State has lost outright in 7 of its last 13. They did beat LSU in Wisconsin. Credit to them. And what a great story. Only 2 wins last year. Now you're in the Sweet 16, but they only scored 59 and 54 last weekend. They're going to need a lot more points than that against the Canes. Love Miami minus the 2 or 2.5.
I'm with you on Miami. I like Miami in this one. The advantage for Miami in this one's inside the arc, where they score most of their points. They're 24th in the nation at scoring their 2-point percentage. Iowa State, that's their weakness on defense. They rank 215th in defending the 2-point shot. Both teams thrive at turning the ball over, but don't get to the free throw line much, which is good for Iowa State. However, in a 2-point spread, Iowa State is a bad free throw shooting team. 68.4% from the line. That's 290th in the nation. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a team in a close game. And Iowa State is 8th in the nation at defending the perimeter. That's their strength on defense. But Miami doesn't shoot many threes, so I think they can avoid that by going inside. And this is another game I favor the coaching. You got Larinaga over Otzelberger, who's a first-year coach and has done a hell of a job. But I think this is it for Iowa State, and I'm with you with Miami here.
Yeah, man, and I'm with you on the good coaching advantage Larinaga's way. And they really kind of got hosed with the whole FBI scandal. Their name came up, and I think it was more just Christian Dawkins using their name as a kind of a ploy to think they had more competition on whichever recruit it was. I forgot. And there was nothing. They did nothing, but they kind of got their name got caught in that, and I think it messed with his recruiting there for a couple years. But now they're back and they're playing really good. And I like Larinaga. I mean, I'm a Gator, so I hate the Canes in football, but I get over it for basketball. So
Basketball's a little different.
It's a little different. Yeah.
Well, good deal, man. Well, who do you have? I know we talked about the brackets a little bit, but if you had to throw away the brackets and just look how the Sweet 16. Let me see if I can pull up a bracket here. No, I thought I had a bracket, but I don't. But anyway, who would you put in the championship if you just threw out the Sweet 16 bracket? Who's left?
Oh man, in my main bracket, I did Texas Tech and Arizona, but my confidence in Arizona is waning. And gosh, I'm not looking at. Wait, hold on, I got a bracket.
Yeah, let me try to pull one up here. I thought I had one. I must have X'd out.
I got one. Here we go.
You got it.
So let me look at here. I tell you what, I think that now UCLA and Texas Tech would play each other before the finals. If Jaquez is healthy, I really like how UCLA is looking. I also like how Villanova looks, and I'm down on Gonzaga. I was down on Gonzaga coming into the tournament. I'm down on Duke. I still like Texas Tech. But I don't know who they're going to be playing in the finals. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I think Purdue and Kansas have probably the easiest road to the final.
I just think Purdue is defensively I think they're going to have a night where they just don't. Now look, they've got as good offense as anybody. When they're lighting up, they can beat everybody, and will beat everybody probably. But I don't trust their defense.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, everybody's got warts. Everybody's got warts.
Yeah, everybody does. But you're right. UCLA would be a pretty good game, and with UCLA's defense against Purdue's offense, maybe could neutralize that a little bit. So I'm looking forward. I hope that's the matchup, UCLA and Purdue, because I think that would be a fun one to watch.
I do too. I just hope Jaquez can play, man, because he's so important to them. And it just it sucks to lose a player to injury this time of year.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's unfortunate. Well, I appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for coming on, man. That was fun. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you have coming up here. With the tournament coming to an end here, what do you look forward to after this, man?
So your listeners can follow me on Twitter at Vegas B Edwards. They can look for my content at majorwager.com. All my picks are available at vegasinsider.com. And I appreciate you having me, Nick. Enjoyed it. And I forget, is this not going to be out till Thursday?
I'll put this out probably tonight.
I was gonna say I like the Aggies of A&M tonight in the NIT.
Okay.
If listeners can,
I'll put it out before that.
Okay, that's another thing. I was you mentioned what am I looking forward to? I was like before the big games get going tomorrow. I like the Aggies tonight.
The Aggies just to prove a point, huh? I think it's a good side. So. But you can find me, like I said, Nick Hub Sports. You can find me at sportspickhub.com and at the Odds Breakers. And thanks again, Brian, for coming on here. We'll have to do this again. That was fun. And have a nice Sweet 16, man.
You as well, man. Enjoyed it.
All right. Appreciate it.